Hello everyone, this is the official submission for the PineCone Hackathon. The application that we have made for the hackathon is a personal assistant. The personal assistant application is used for general purpose journaling applications. So what this presentation would cover is our inspiration and our objective, why we have made this application, the tools and frameworks that we have used, and our approach that through which we have built this application, some challenges that we have faced, and then a small demo. So the inspiration of this project emerged when we were brainstorming for an application that would enhance general purpose journaling experience in this digital age of large language models. So we wanted to leverage large language models to store and manage journaling applications like general purpose diary management or managing personal finances on a daily basis. So we wanted an application that was intuitive to use for the user, so the user does not need to make different queries or write long sequences for the application to work. So our objective is to create an interactive journal app that would change the way people capture and manage their experiences, daily life experiences, and allow users to record their thoughts, manage their tasks, manage their finances, manage appointments, and get alarms, and basically get an insight on their daily life using the power of large language models. So some frameworks that we have used in this application is, of course, the PineCone vector database to store vectors, and the Cohere API was used to create the embeddings for these vector text that was stored on the PineCone database. The OpenAI GPT 3.5 model was used to generate responses from our text, and some prompt engineering had to be used to get a proper response from the large language model. And finally, Streamlit was used as the user interface. So our approach in building an application was that first we had to classify what type of input was given to the application. The input might be categorized as a query or an entry, and that was done using prompt engineering. So if it was categorized as a query, the pathway that we used to categorize it, the user input as a query was that it would initiate a sequence that the previous journal entries would be searched for on the vector database on PineCone, and then retrieved, and then a proper response would be generated based on that. And if it was journal entry, it was just used to store the data. It was just embedded and then stored on the vector database. And finally, we had to use prompt engineering and many other techniques to integrate all such methods, whether it's a query, whether it's an entry, and whether when to generate a response or not. So some challenges we had to face was the first challenge was that the how to determine if the LLM or the user is talking about time. If the time, for example, a person says, to his journal, get me the finances of the last 2 months, then how do we make the LLM convert the last 2 months into a fixed date and fixed time? And that we achieved actually through prompt engineering. First, we passed our query to our LLM, and then generated a start date and a stop date. And then we can make exact calculations on the date. And for the dates, we had some difficulty on the vector database as well, that how can we search based on time, and that was actually available on the PineCone API, that we can include as many metadata on the vector database responding to a specific embedding. And the last the last challenge we had was how to chain multiple prompts in a sequence of prompts that the LLM can then generate a response on. Then that we actually did through OpenAI's excellent documentation, that they have a very specific format that you can give the LLM in terms of messages, and you can achieve whatever you want using prompt engineering. So this is a simple demo that I'm just instructing how you will go through the application, that will again be instructed live in the demo. First, you will be graded by the application on Streamlit. Then this is the step 1. In the step 2, you will name your personal assistant. Here I've named my personal assistant Alexa, and Then you can enter your name. If you enter new name, new entries will be made on your behalf. If you are entering an old name, then old entries and old entries that you have made to the journal will be recalled from the PineCone database. Then you will give some journal entries to the personal assistant. Here again, hi, my name is John. I am a resident of New York City. I work in an IT company as a data scientist. And after you've made some entries, you can view your journal entries, and then also you can ask queries about the entries that you have made. Now we move on to a demo.
So now we are moving forward with the demonstration of our personal assistant application. So in order to access our application, we are using this link. Our application is also deployed on GitHub, so you can access our application anytime using this link of Streamlit app. So this is basically our main page of our personal assistant application. So moving forward to the next page. So in the first step, what we have to do is we have to name our personal assistant. Like what do we need to call our personal assistant? So I am naming my personal assistant in this demo video as my personal assistant and PA. So moving forward to the next page. So now I have to enter my username. So my username, let's suppose it's John 1997. So moving forward to the next page. So now on this tab, now we have to enter our entries to our personal assistant application. So for that we have some queries. I have already written some queries to save our time. So we are adding our entries. Entry added successfully means our entry is added into the system. So now adding my second entry, which is I live in New York. I have a master's degree in data science. So adding this entry. So this entry is also added successfully. So now it's time to add our third entry, which is I work as a machine learning engineer at a reputed firm. So adding our third entry. So our third entry is also successfully added. So it's time to add our fourth entry. So last night I went to watch a movie with my friends. The movie was about the revolution that the AI will bring to this world. So adding our fourth entry. So this entry is also successfully added. So now let's add one last entry, which is tomorrow I need to submit a presentation about the project I have been working on since 2 weeks. So let's add this entry as well. So we have added 5 entries. Now it's time to check our entries, like all the 5 entries are added into the system by moving on this tab of previous entries. So here we can see that all the entries are added with our date and timestamp. And so we have added these 5 entries. Now it's time to question our personal assistant about these entries. Let's question this. So I have also shortlisted some questions like what is my occupation. So let's question our application, our personal assistant. So it's giving us an answer based on the journal entries. Your occupation is a machine learning engineer at a reputed firm, which is true actually. And according to the third entry, I work as a machine learning engineer at a reputed firm. So which means just this answer by our personal assistant is correct. So let's give it another question. So is there a deadline I need to worry about? Based on a journal entry, tomorrow you need to submit a presentation about the project you have been working on the past 2 weeks. Therefore, yes, there is a deadline you need to worry about. So this answer is also correct, as I have a deadline, which according to the 5th entry, I have a deadline which about the project I have been working on since 2 weeks. So this answer is also correct by our personal assistant. So this application is working perfectly fine. So now we have to log out from our personal assistant app, and this is all about the demo of our application. Thank you.